Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Morgan and I'm the maker behind LA Crochet, and if you're one of my fabulous returning crochet friends, then hey, welcome back. Today is the day that we have all been waiting for. Today is officially the day where we restock the marketplace booth. If you guys didn't know, we already have a full series up on the YouTube channel, 3 parts of us actually making all the items. So if you did not see that and you want to see the whole process, be sure to check those out. I have everything fully tagged. I have my sheet made up, so we're going to be going through all of the inventory, the pricing that I'm thinking. Then we're going to head to the marketplace and officially do the makeover. Before we get into it, be sure that you like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. A few quick announcements before we get started. My next Palm Street Live, you guys, is this Saturday at the time you guys are watching this video. It is January 31st at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm placing the link in the description below to bookmark the live. That's basically like hitting the notification button, so you'll be notified when I go live. Be sure that you bookmark that live. If we get a certain amount of bookmarks, we will do an extra special giveaway. I'm going to be revealing my top secret pattern, as well as I think another pattern, maybe. I think there might be 2 pattern reveals. We're also going to be doing some $1 starting bids. There's going to be exclusive plushies and patterns and so many dance parties, so you guys do not want to miss this one. And if you didn't know, I am on Patreon as well. We do pattern tests. There's finalized patterns. We also do bonus pattern tests too. There's Zoom hangouts, behind the scenes content, blooper reels, and we're also right now in the midst of doing our first ever plushie pageant. If you want to be a part of that and check out all the different Patreon tiers, the link is in the description as well. But all right, you guys, let's once and for all get into our marketplace makeover. So real quick, before we broke down all of the inventory, I just wanted to give you guys one final look at all of the items that I've made over the past few weeks. This is slightly more than I was planning on making, so I am really excited at how everything looks. I think everything looks really colorful together and fun. I'm especially happy with the garlands and the swinging animals. There's so many patterns in here that I haven't made for such a long time, and there's even some that I've never even made before, like the flower bag charms and of course the garlands. So this was just a really fun project, a really great opportunity for me to come back to some old patterns and to try some new ones. And you'll notice here 3 new additions even to last week's video. So I did make 3 seagulls with a french fry. This pattern was very heavily inspired by my local area, so I decided that it would probably be a good idea for me to include some of them in the booth. I think local friends are really gonna get a kick out of them. Our seagulls here are very vicious and love to steal french fries. And I'm going to be using this giant inventory bag to bring everything with me. This is the bag that I always would use whenever I would do my in-person markets. It's also the same bag that I use to bring all of my boxes to the post office. So I use this a lot. It really comes in handy. Highly recommend if you need one. The first thing we are going to put into the bag is my pegboard. So I've referenced this the past 3 videos where we've been making the inventory. I got this pegboard so that I could hang a bunch of items actually on the wall, which I think was a really good idea because I have a lot of the swinging animals, the hanging plants, and the plant hangers that really would do best actually displayed hanging on something versus just sitting on a shelf. You really don't get the full effect for what it is actually supposed to be. So I got this, and then there's kind of like a bunch of accessories. It's kind of like the one that I have in my packing corner. So there's like these little shelves. There's also some of these hooks and things too. So once we get there, I'll have to do a lot of finagling to see kind of where I want everything. I'm also bringing these 2 shelves in case I need them, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use these. I know I already have one at the booth. By the way, you guys, it is going to be interesting to see what the booth looks like right now. I have no idea what's there. I think there might be like 1 succulent, maybe some keychains, and maybe a few bandanas, and that's probably it. When I tell you, it's looking very sad. It is looking very sad. But I do know that I have one of these there because I know that I had the emotional support dumpster fires on it. But I think I might need another one, and maybe for the mushy boys, or maybe for, what was the other thing I might use it for? Oh, the octos, that's right. So those might go on there. So I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna bring 2 just to be safe. All right, now let's actually get into the inventory. So last night I spent a long time tagging everything, you guys. Oh my gosh. I totally underestimated how much time it would take to tag everything, especially since I really did make a lot of items. In total, there's, I believe, over 100 items here. I even had to go out to the store yesterday to get some more tags because I didn't have enough. I'll pop a picture right here so you can see what my desk looked like last night while I was tagging everything. Just handwriting all of them took a very long time. On each one, I put the name of the item, I put the price, and then I also put the time that it took to make it. That's something that I saw somebody do on social media, and I thought it was such a good idea because I feel like that's probably one of the most asked questions that we usually get is how long something took you to make when you're at an in-person market. So I thought it would be fun to put those in the booth so that people can see as they come through if they're curious. And then I also have my inventory sheet right here. So I'll pop that on the screen for you guys. And this is, of course, like I said, pre me going to the store. So I don't know what is currently there. I'm just kind of doing my best guess at this point. I believe we do still have a plant there. We also do still have a few bandanas. So I think I honestly, I have no idea. There might still be 5. Those are 15 each. And then I did make like a large bandana and that one is 18. So those are items that I had before. Now let's actually get into some of the items that I made. We're just gonna go in alphabetical order. So the first items that we have here are my 4 blueberries. This pattern is from my Fruit Basket bundle pattern. By the way, I'll put all of the links to all the patterns and everything in the description in case you'd like to make anything for yourself. These are going to be $5. It took me about 20 to 25 minutes to make, and I am labeling them as blueberry stress balls like that. I did not put any eyes on them this time. I thought we would just keep it plain this time and see how they do, but let me give you guys the close-up. That is what they look like. Up next, we have our 4 capybaras. These ones are of course by Lilac Moon Crochet. It is a free pattern up on Instagram. So for these ones we have 4 total. I'm pricing them at 10. I had these in the booth last time and they completely flew off the shelf like super quickly. So I did raise the price just a few dollars. Last night when I was trying to figure out the price for everything, I was reminded how difficult it always is, like when you're doing the in-person markets as well. It's kind of hard to know what to price things at. It's definitely kind of a trial and error system. So the great news is we can always change the prices of the items. If they're flying off the shelves, we can raise a little bit. If we can't get rid of something, then we can lower a little bit. But we have our little cappies here. They are ready to go. I embroidered the little eyes on them as well. They look like little sleepy capybaras. Next, we have our coaster flower sets. I love these so much. They're very fun to make. So I did make them in a bunch of different color varieties. We have this kind of darker purple one with the white center, and I made them in a pack of 4, and I just attached them with the tag like that so they would all stay together as a set. We have a purple one with a white center. We have a light pink one with a white center. We also have a light pink one with that darker purple center, and then finally this one might be my favorite, the green with the white center. So these ones with 4 in a set, they are going to be 18 each. This is one where I'm kind of like, I don't know if that pricing is right, but we will see. I did have before 2 sets of these with only 2 coasters in them, and they sold pretty quickly too, so I'm wondering now if maybe that will be good. And like I said, we can adjust if needed. They look so fun together. Look at that. It's like a big flowery coaster cylinder. And then the other coasters that we have are these sunflower granny square coasters. I made these in 4 different colors. So of course we did the classic yellow and brown, and again I attached it together, the grouping of 4 using the tag. We also have this really pretty peach with the darker orange. We have the different shades of blue here, also very pretty. And then finally, and this one is also my favorite, which totally makes sense now that I think about it because these are of course the Ally Crochet colors. It's this mint one with the darker green in the center. So these ones I'm doing 20 for a set of 4. This is another one where I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's right or not. They did take me a long time to make though. Granny squares kind of take me a little bit longer, plus weaving in all the ends and everything. So that's the price that we're going for initially, and then we'll adjust if needed. Up next, we'll see if I can hold them all at the same time. Yes, we have all 5 of our emotional support dumpster fires. This is something that always sells really well at the booth. I think people just think it's very funny. So I made 5 of them. We have pink, peach, purple, blue, and green. The plan is for us to put these on those shelves that I just showed you guys. Also, if you've never seen this pattern before, it is by the Fox Den Mom Life. The sign says, "I'm fine, fine, I'm fine, everything is fine. And I think these sell so well because, you know, this is kind of applicable to any job ever. You know, we can all relate. And we are going to be doing these for 16 each. Up next, I am really excited for these. We have the garlands. So I made 3 in total. 2 of them are these flower ones. This is the first variation. It's very colorful, the pastel colors, and then we have this really bright kind of aquamarine color for the cord, and I'll just give you guys the close-up of what that looks like. I put the tag right here. I wasn't really sure kind of where to put it, so I figured there so it couldn't like slip off the end. So for the flower ones, we are doing 28 each because these took quite a long time to make, about 2 hours. And the plan is to hang these on command strips, actually like on the sides of the little shelf things, if that makes sense. We'll see how it works when we actually get there. And then this is the other flower garland that we have that we're doing for the exact same price of 28 because it's pretty much the exact same thing, just different colors. This is the sunflower version, so it's very, very pretty. These are definitely good to have in time for spring, which is kind of the vibe that I was going for. And then finally, this is the heart garland that we made. So this is kind of the one that I'm thinking for Valentine's Day. There's lots of hearts on this one, but luckily the hearts worked up pretty quickly, so it didn't take like forever to make. It took about an hour and a half in total, and we're gonna do 24 for this one and see how that works. If you want to see exactly how I made all of these garlands, be sure to check out last week's video. So that would be part 3 of the Marketplace Restock series. I really go through like the entire process of making all of them, attaching them, even making the cord part 2 and like setting that up as well. And that actually reminds me that I need to bring command strips, especially for hanging the pegboard on the wall and also for the hooks. So this is kind of our command strip stash that we have in the house. I'm just gonna bring the whole thing because I don't really know what I'm going to need. I am also going to bring some clothespins as well. So if I decide it's just easier to attach them with a clothespin, then I might just do that. I want to make sure that everything is secure, obviously, but I also want to make sure that everything is easy enough to remove. So if someone wants to purchase it, they can take it off relatively with ease. Up next, we have our 3 hanging plants. So I did 2 of them with the darker green color, and then I decided to do 1 with the lighter color. So I figured we could hang these up on the pegboard and kind of do like a little alternating color situation. These are each going to be 20. Again, we will see. I had one of these before and it flew off the shelf, so we will see. That is one question I get asked a lot, is how do I figure out pricing? It really depends on your area, and that's kind of like what I always have to tell everybody. And it's just a bunch of trial and error. My plan going forward is to kind of do like a monthly check-in on the booth to see what has sold and everything, what I need to make more of. That way, hopefully it won't feel as overwhelming. And then we'll hopefully have kind of like monthly Marketplace restock videos here. The next item that we have are the 2 bee keychains. So this is my own pattern. The tutorial is up here on YouTube if you guys want to make it. I'm gonna do these for $8. These were made with Parfait Chunky. I believe I used a 4mm hook for these ones. Next, we have the flower bag charms. I definitely made a lot more of these than I was expecting. Originally thought I was just going to make 8, but I ended up making 12. So we have 1 with the white and purple color, and we're gonna do each of these for $6. There's this one with the white and the blue, and then we have 2 each of the purple and the white. They all have these like really cool gold keychains on them. As you can see, this is why it took me so long to tag, because literally every single thing needs to be tagged. Also, because it is a marketplace, I need to make sure that my booth number and like the name of my booth is on it as well. So I wrote LA Crochet like over 100 times last night, but we have this really pretty mint and white, and then we have peach and white and the pinkish purple and white. Up next, we do have the kiwi keychains. So I made 4 of these total, and I'll give you guys a little close up. This is what they look like. These are a part of my fruit basket bundle pattern, and we're going to do these for $6 each. Then I made 8 of the popping mushroom keychains, so let me show you guys. We have 2 of the purple ones, and if you've never seen this pattern before, it's kind of like a fidget toy, so they just pop up and down. I did use the bigger keychains for this one just because it kind of is a bigger keychain, and I also embroidered embroidered the little spots on the top as well. So these are really fun. We have 2 purple, we have 2 of the mint color as well. We have 2 of the kind of sky light blue ones. And then I decided we should probably do a few classic ones, and we did the white and the red. This pattern is by Cable and Canvas as well. I believe she has a tutorial here on YouTube, and I'll link that below for you guys. All right, and these next ones are the last ones from my fruit basket bundle pattern. I decided to do all of the fruits in that pattern. So that's why we had the blueberries and the oranges, the kiwis, and now we have done the watermelons and the pineapples. So I decided to make 4 pineapple keychains. They all, of course, have little eyes and a little smile and blush on them. Lots of detail went into these ones. So these ones are going to be $10 each. We also did the big keychains on these ones. Like I said, whenever the keychain is a bigger size, I like to make the whole a bigger size so it looks a little bit more proportional. And then up next we have the watermelon keychains. So I made 4, hold on, let me get all the tags out of the way. I made 4 in the classic red and green color, and then we embroidered all the seeds on there. And then I also decided to do something new. So we made 4 kind of in the pastel light pink and mint color. I said when I made these reminded me of the Sour Patch watermelon candy things. So in total we have 8 watermelon keychains, and we're doing these for $6 each. These ones are really fun. So I decided for the very first time to have fuzzy weighted mushy boys in my booth as well, and I made 6 of them in different colored variations. So of course we have the light pink one here. They are completely full of weighted pellets. There's no polyfill in them, so I'm labeling them as fuzzy weighted mushroom desk buddies. Then we did this darker one. I believe this is Feels Like Bliss in the shade Rose. We have the lighter kind of lilac purple one. These are each going to be 16 as well, and like I said, we made 6 of them. So this is the green one, this one is the blue one, and if I squeeze them for you guys, hopefully you can hear those weighted pellets on the inside. And then finally we have this one. This one might be my favorite. Don't tell the others. I just really like the dark gray. I believe this is slate. So the plan is for these to go on those shelves that I showed you guys before. Next, keeping up with the fuzzy trend, we have the octos. So I decided to make 8. Oh, whoopsies. So there are 8. So I made 1 in each color, kind of to make it look like a rainbow. I have labeled these as fuzzy octo buddies, and I decided to embroider the eyes for all of them. There's also no weighted pellets in these ones. It's just the polyfill, because these octos are so small that you can't really fit that many weighted pellets in there. Once you put the little pouch in there, there's really not that much room for weighted pellets. So we just did the polyfill. This pattern is by Sweet Softies as well. I'll link that below for you guys. They have the cool individual tentacles on the bottom. And I really wanted to do the little white eye detailing on the side there just to give them a little bit more of like a realistic look. We're gonna have to see where we are going to place these on the booth. I'm thinking that they'll probably go on one of those shelves. So the 2 shelves will probably be the mushy boys and these octos. I'm thinking we can probably put 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. And you guys know I love to do things in rainbow order, so we'll probably have to do it that way. As what Feels Like Bliss yarn is so soft and it's incredibly slippery, so I feel like sometimes I drop them, but this is the last one. So we did 8 total, and they are $10 each. Up next, this is the last fruit in my fruit bundle. These are the orange stress balls. Again, like the blueberries, I didn't do any eyes on them. We're just gonna try them plain and see how that goes. They're $5 each. Next, we have the 4 plant hangers that I made. I really love these. They're very unique. The cool thing about this pattern is that when you actually put something in there, you can kind of see it even now, but when you actually put a plant in there, it really becomes obvious. The weight of it kind of pulls it down, and you can really see that triangular detailing on the side. It's really cool. This is actually a free pattern, so of course it'll be linked below for you guys if you'd like to make it, but I made 4 of them. Of course, the orange, blue, green, and beige one. These are each going to be 18, and for all of them, I put a little keychain on the top as well, just kind of a smaller one there, so whoever gets them can hang it wherever they they would like. I made 2 of these before, I believe, for the marketplace, and literally the same day that I put them in, somebody bought both of them. So I was like, okay, I should probably come this time with even more. So that's why I decided to make 4. And I figured these colors look pretty good together because they're kind of like earthy tones. So I thought they would look nice with the plant aesthetically, if that makes sense. Up next, we have 2 pickles. So this is my own pickle pattern. I have it just for free on Instagram. I do have my pickle jar actually already at the booth. I believe there might be 1 pickle left, or there's no pickle left. There's no pickles left. So we might have 3 pickles, or we might have 2. And we can put these in the jar. These are going to be $12. That's the same price I always did whenever I did the in-person markets. On my list here, I have 2 pumpkins at the marketplace. Again, I have no idea. I don't know if those survived like the Halloween season. So we will have to see. I also might have taken them and sold them at another in-person market. So we really have to just see what is there when we go. It's been a while since I've updated this inventory sheet. Okay, and like I said before, this is something new that I've made since the last video. So I did the other day make 3 seagulls with a french fry. I made 2 in the larger size and then 1 in the smaller. So the smaller size is Parfait Chunky with a 5mm hook, and I did it in the cream color. This is my own pattern. It's available on my Etsy, link below if you guys would like to check it out. But these fries are actually removable out of the little basket, so it's kind of like a little interactive thing. And then of course I gave him a little french fry to put in his mouth. I'm hoping that these do really well because, like I said, it's kind of like a running joke in my area. So the smaller one we are doing for $32, and then the larger ones I made out of Sweet Snuggles Light with a 6.5mm hook. Very similar, it's just the gray on the wings is a slightly lighter gray color, and we are doing these for $36. I do also have succulents on here. It says I have 2. I'm not really sure. I know last time I was there, I remember there being 1. I just don't remember if the other one was there. I believe the one that's still there is the blue one, so we'll have to see. And then you guys, this is the most expensive item that I'm going to have at the booth, and that is this sunflower granny square bag. As you guys know, this took me literally forever to make. I have no idea precisely how long it took to make, but I wrote down 6 hours on the tag. Honestly, it's probably more than that. I know that I can't really charge what this actually should be charged, and honestly I don't even know if anyone's gonna get it for 60. We'll have to see. I'm pretty content though with this just kind of chilling in the booth until that right person comes along. I'm really not in that great of a hurry to sell it. This is definitely my most intricate piece, so it might kind of like draw people into the booth. And also I'm probably not going to make another one because it took me so long to make, and like I said, I can't really charge what I should for it. So this is probably my last sunflower granny square bag for a long while. And then finally, the last items that we have for the booth are the swinging animals. So I have 16 of these total. These are a part of that bundle pattern by All From Jade, and there's 8 variations in it total, and I made 2 of each variation, hence 16. So these are the first 2. These are the very, very cute. I love these ones, the little mallards on the swing. For these ones, we're going to do 16 each. There has been a lot of demand for these lately, so that's why I made so many of them. There's also these 2. So these are the 2 otters on the swings. We also have these 2 axolotls. Lots of details went into these axolotls, and I just love their little meepish faces there. The straight line on them are just so cute. And then we also have the little penguins here. I really love the penguins as well. They're very similar to the mallard design, just the different colors. And then these are the second half. So these ones, I love them. They're little froggies on the swings. The place where I put my tag is down there, so I was hoping that wouldn't really like impede with you actually seeing what the item is. One thing I do really like about this pattern is because of the way she designed it, you can actually adjust the placement of the plushie on the swing if you wanted to. Next we have 2 walrusi. Very cute. Look at those little tusks on there. And then again, very similar to that one, we also have 2 seals. My favorite part of this one is definitely the snout detailing. I really like how she designed that with the 2 like gray stitches, and then you embroider the little snout on there. And then finally, this one might be my favorite because of the design of it. I think is so unique. We have the little turtles on the swings. Look how cute. Oh my gosh. Just love their little shell and everything and how they're kind of like standing on the swing. I think it's very cute. The last thing that I have here are these two signs. So the first one is for anyone who comes through and they already crochet and they maybe want a crochet pattern. It's this sign that I designed myself to be in the same kind of style of all of my other LA crochet branding. So I have my Etsy listed on there as well. I'm also gonna have business cards there. They're currently there now. So people can take them too, and they'll actually have like the link on there as well. And then we do have this one. It says now accepting custom orders. So if anybody wanted like an actual full-on plushie made like this, then they would know where to contact me at my email. Okay, so I just did some very, very rough calculations. Like I sped through it. I don't really know if they're actually right. Also, like I said, there's some items on here that I'm not sure if they're still at the marketplace. I'm not sure if my numbers are right. So as it stands right now, I think we have about 121 items total for the marketplace, which is really, really good. That's definitely the most amount that I've ever had before. And I believe we have about $2,113 in inventory, which is also really good. Once we actually go to the marketplace and I really finalize the inventory sheet, then we can come back here and really do those final calculations. But for right now, that's kind of like the rough estimate of everything. This is how our bag is looking. Honestly, it's super, super full. I'm gonna have to see if it actually closes. If it doesn't, I do have another one just like it that I can bring. So I'm just gonna take a second to make sure that I have everything. I know I wanna bring my computer so I can update the inventory sheet. I need to bring my camera, obviously, and my tripod. I also definitely need to make sure that there's some place where I can set up my phone, because while we're filming horizontally, I also wanna film the process vertically so I can make some reels out of it as well. I'm also gonna bring some more tags. I'm gonna bring my crochet kit, and just in case, you never really know, scissors, and I'm also going to bring my stepping stool just to make sure I can like reach everything on the wall. So yeah, I'm gonna gather all of that stuff up. We're gonna load up the car and then we are going to head to the marketplace. All right, you guys, and surprise, this is what the booth looks like. Oh my gosh, it looks so bad. Thankfully, my sister-in-law and her mom were able to kind of fill the space with some of their stuff so it didn't look quite as bare. Also, I do have to do a voiceover here because they play music in the background. So yeah, this is what everything is looking like. Let me show you guys the things that are still here. So there are still 3 watermelon keychains, 2 of the lighter pink one, and then actually 1 more of that darker purple one. And then we do still have 3 of the kiwi keychains on here as well, which I wasn't expecting. So now we are going to have 7 total. And then I do still have this plant over here, some of my business cards, which I did bring more of them to restock. And then there's also this succulent here. This is my very last succulent. I did have 3, so the other 2 sold. So now we just have that one. Also, I'm not really sure what happened here. All of my bandanas are just kind of in like a clump on the side here, but we will fix those. We still have all 6 of them, so we'll have to see if they sell. I might end up donating them if they don't sell here soon. And yeah, that is everything, you guys. I'm telling you, it is so bare, but we are going to make it look a lot better. Oh, and I also have my banner up there too. So I think the plan is to put the pegboard right here. I think that this would be a really good spot for it, and it's at a really nice level too, so you can see everything. And then I'll be able to put more stuff on these 2 shelves directly below it, and then we'll probably also keep like the keychains and everything up here on the top shelf, and then we'll move everything else over to the bigger shelf so that we have things kind of sectioned off here. So this is just a time lapse of me moving everything from the smaller shelves to the larger ones so that we can kind of have all of the crochet stuff in one section. And now it is time for me to put my pegboards up on the wall. So I hung my sunflower bag up first just so I could get the spacing right. There was actually already this nail on the wall for the bag, so I just hung it on that and then spaced out the pegboards here to kind of visualize how I wanted it to look. I like that height and everything, so I decided to go ahead with that. And then I thought I would be able to use these kind of sticky strips that are on the back of the pegboards, but when I tried to put them up, they did not work at all. Like, they literally just started falling down, but that is totally okay because I brought my own command strips. So I decided to just hang these up in the exact same way that I did in my craft room. The first one was kind of the trickiest because I wanted to make sure I got the placement right, and I also wanted to make sure that it was was level, but once I had that one placed, putting the other 3 up was pretty easy because then I could just kind of line them up with the first one. Once I had all 4 of them up, this is what it looked like, and I really liked the placement of it. I think that it's perfect. It's like eye level, and it fits perfectly between the keychains and the sunflower bag, and then also under the banner. So now the big thing that we need to do is set up all the hooks and the shelves on it so we can kind of get a little bit of an idea of how we want to place everything. I know I made a lot of the swinging animals, so those are probably going to take up quite a bit of the space. Honestly, this was probably the hardest part about setting up the booth, trying to figure out the spacing of this whole pegboard. I put things on and then kind of rearranged them like 3 different times because originally I thought that I was going to be able to display each of the swinging animals separately, but then I very quickly realized that that would take up way too much space, so I decided that each variation had to go like one behind the next and that there was really only enough space for one of them to show up front, so each of the 8 are shown. And after a lot of finagling and rearranging, this is the final setup that I decided to go with. I love it so much. I think that it looks so good, and like spacing wise, everything looks okay. So up top here, like I was saying, I made a lot of the swinging animals, so of course they're taking up a lot of room, so I just put one behind the other. That's really all the room that we had. Honestly, they fit perfect, so I'll have to keep that in mind, that 8 across is like the perfect dimension for this pegboard. I also decided to put the little capybaras on their own little shelf here. I put the hanging plants directly under here. I really like how they look too. And then I decided to only hang up one of the plant hangers just because 1, I didn't have enough hooks to hang up all of them, and 2, spacing wise, it made more sense to just hang up the one so that you could see what it looks like fully hanging and then put the other 3 on the shelf directly next to it. And I really like that kind of the asymmetry of having the 2 shelves on the one side and then the hanging stuff on the other. So now at this point, we are going to move on to putting all of the things on the 2 bottom shelves down here. This is another process that kind of took a long time just because I did have a lot of stuff and I've never done a setup like this before where I just have these 2 smaller shelves. So I definitely kind of moved things around a lot and it took longer, but the amount of stuff that I had was totally perfect because it fit the space really well. Hanging up all the keychains actually took me a lot longer than I expected just because I didn't realize how many keychains I had made. So by the time I was done filling up this display, it was totally full with all of the keychains. Like there's barely even enough room to turn it. I also went ahead and put the seagulls right next to the keychains. They look so cute there. So at this point, the last thing that I had to figure out was where to put the garlands. I had thought of several different options for these, but ultimately I decided to hang 2 of them actually on the shelf, so kind of on the edge. So it's almost like a decoration for the shelf. And then I decided to put the other one over top of the pegboard, and that just really added another nice pop of color. And then again, it also kind of feels like a decoration in and of itself. And I decided to go with the command strips for these ones, so the ones with the little hooks, because actually, so the little eye cords, they're perfect with the hooks. I just had to push the hook through the eye cord, and it's kind of like with crochet, like if you poke a little hole through it, it doesn't do anything at all. The hole will just go away. So I just pulled them tight so that they weren't like draping over the shelf or anything like that. And I think that was a really perfect option because it's secure enough, so I know it's not going to fall down, but it's also easy enough to get up, so if somebody wanted to purchase it, they wouldn't have a hard time picking it up and taking it to the register. And now it is officially time for the moment we have all been waiting for, you guys, the final look at the fully redone marketplace booth. I love it so much. This has taken me quite a long time to get together. Obviously, it took like 3 weeks to make all of the inventory, and just seeing all of it together here is so worth it. I really wanted to make a lot of more colorful items for it, and I think that it just pops and it looks so fun, especially with the pegboard and the garlands and all of our little dumpster fires and coasters and just all of the super fun things, plus those custom signs that we have done. I just love it so much, and I'm really excited that we are now able to finally give this booth the attention that it fully deserves. So let me give you guys kind of the full tour of the entire booth, the final look that I decided to go with. So we'll start over here on this shelf where I decided to put the 2 garlands and the seagulls. I'll show you right here. So this is how I ended up hanging the garlands. Like I was saying before, you just poke the little hole through the cord and it fits perfectly there. So I put the sunflower one on the top and then the heart one on the bottom. And then
then like I said, we did the more colorful flowery one above the pegboard. I really love the splash of color that that brings, especially I'm just now realizing it also kind of matches my sign. I really wanted to put the seagulls over here on the top shelf because I think that they are going to be big attention grabbers. This is what the keychain display looks like, you guys. It is so absolutely chocked full of keychains. I really didn't realize how many keychains I made, but I think it's also because I made a lot of larger keychains too. So like the pineapples and the mushrooms, they really take up a lot of space. So you're not really able to turn it super duper well. Also, the bees kind of take up a lot of space too on the back there, but I'm just glad that it's full and everyone's able to mostly see everything okay. And then again, here is the pegboard. I'm really hoping that the swinging animals are like a big eye catcher. We've got our capybaras, the hanging plants, and the plant hangers on there. I prioritized putting the hanging items on the pegboard, obviously, because I felt like they displayed better that way. And they just look a lot more kind of appealing. You can really tell what the item is more once it's displayed actually hanging up like that. The capybaras here, I don't know. I just figured they looked really, really good because they are shorter. So they really fit the space well. And it was just kind of like a nice addition. And then here are the plant hangers. I decided to hang up the green one because I thought color wise it would look really nice next to the hanging plants. And then I put the other three colors. They fit perfectly on this little shelf on the side next to it. And then of course we have our three hanging plants right here. And that is the entire pegboard. I love it so much. I'm completely obsessed. I did decide to put this bandana on this little display ladder we have over here. These are my sister-in-law's mom's bags that she has made, and they're so amazing. I thought it would be nice to put the bandana there and kind of draw more attention to it. And then of course, like I said, I hung the sunflower bag on this little nail that was already in the wall. Coming down here, we have the emotional support dumpster fires. This is exactly how I displayed them before, so they fit perfectly on this little shelf. And I decided I didn't have enough room to put the octos on their own shelf because the shelf kind of takes up a lot of room. So I decided since they're shorter, they went really well in front of the emotional support dumpster fires. And then I gave the mushy boys their own shelf and just put that down here. As you can see, like I said, the shelf kind of takes up a lot of space. And then on the very bottom here, we put some of those bandanas. I just laid them out a little bit more. Another option might be to put them on the ladder too, but we'll see. And now coming over here to this shelf, so I decided to put the one custom order sign right up there on the top so everyone could see it okay. And that was a great option because the coasters are very flat, so you can see the sign okay, and then you can also see all of the coasters, plus they're not blocking anything that's on the pegboard behind them. On the shelf below here, I have all of the little stress balls in the fruit basket, plus my little aloe plant here, and then this is where I also decided to put the pattern sign. Then we have some more symmetry with the top shelf, and then on the very bottom here, we have our little pickle jar. So cute. There were no more pickles, so that was just totally empty. And then of course we also have our little succulent down there as well. So yeah, you guys, that is the entire setup for the marketplace. I am still so in shock that we are finally done with this project. Like I said, it took a lot of time to do, but I am so glad that I finally took the time and really dedicated everything to making the booth exactly how I wanted it and just making it the best that it could be. Also, the cohesion with like the signs and the business cards and my banner, I just feel like it looks so much more professional than it did before. And I'm really hoping that there's kind of a nice variety for everyone. So like if you're into some like kind of more plushy things, there's the seagulls, there's the capybaras. If you want something funny, there's the emotional support dumpster fires, the hanging plants, the plant hangers, the coasters. There's more like practical aspects as well.
Okay, now time for some final numbers here. So it did look like we had 3 watermelon keychains, 3 kiwi keychains, the bandanas, and then a few plants left. So now we have our finalized inventory sheet, and it looks like we have 126 items in the marketplace, which is really good. I didn't really have a goal beforehand, but that's definitely the most amount that I've ever had in the marketplace at any point. So I'm really excited about that. Remember yesterday when I was saying like, oh, roughly like this amount? Well, it was really rough because clearly I made a huge mistake in the calculations. I was sitting here with a calculator just like kind of willy-nilly hitting the buttons. I must have calculated something very wrong at one point because I think the number we said yesterday was like 20 something hundred. Well, I did the final calculations right now, and it looks like in total we have $1,631 in inventory, which obviously still is really, really good. The highest like amount of inventory thing that I have, if that makes sense, was the animal swings, or swinging animals, whatever you would like to call them. And that's just because I made 16 of them. Like that's the most amount of anything that I've made. Second after that were those flower bag charms, because I ended up making 12 of those. We also have $96 worth of mushy boys, which is really, really funny to me. I don't know why. But anyway, guys, yes, that wraps it up for today's marketplace makeover video. Thank you guys so much for watching and for coming along through this entire process. Again, if you didn't see the first 3 videos and you want to come along through the entire process of making all of the inventory, I do have all 3 of those videos up on my YouTube channel. The plan is to do a monthly check-in. So hopefully after a few weeks, we'll go back to the marketplace, see everything that's sold, kind of do a little recap, and then replace the items or make some new items to go in the place of them. So hopefully it'll just kind of be like a periodic check-in series here, which I thought would be kind of interesting too, because a lot of people have asked me if I feel like having a marketplace booth is worth it. And honestly, up until this point, I haven't really been able to answer it, honestly, because I've been neglecting it so much. So now hopefully if we keep up with this, then I will actually be able to answer that question and give a lot more like tangible feedback, if that makes sense. Remember, if you want to check out my Patreon, the link to do that is in the description below. As always, if you guys were crocheting while watching this video, let all of us know what you're making in the comments. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye!